Bitcoin floating near 118,000. Ethereum itself is trying to hold on to 3,700. And some altcoins, well, they're getting straight out crushed, but others are holding their own. But there's a twist today. There's a twist. We got the federal open market decision, and White House crypto report could flip this market upside down. Is a short squeeze incoming, or are we going to get a deeper flush down? Let's break it all down. Let's welcome back Crypto Crew. It's your boy Tom here, bringing you the hottest in crypto and Bitcoin action. If you like what you see, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you come on over to X and follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin and crypto all day, every day. All right, let's break it all down. All right, we got a live stream coming up today. Make sure that you are part of it. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Justin's going to be breaking down his trade that he's based off of a reverse, actually off of a right shoulder of an inverted head and shoulder pattern. You're not going to want to miss it. Kid is holding tight. Actually, I say young gentleman is holding tight. I know I'm a little bit older, but, he's a young man. And, as we sit, Bitcoin's trading near 19,000, 118,000, just below the 120,000 resistance. Analysts highlight, 120,500 is key for a rally breakout. Now, all right, we've been saying that, so now I'm glad that they're on board. Let me take you over to WeX so I could show you our broker of choice and the trade, where it's sitting. Low fees, fast execution. As you can see, it's got an average entry price 117K. Right now, ROI is up about 5.77. He's had some really good ROI in this, but he's held the line. And that's what you got to ask him in the live stream. Okay, look, you had this. We've been in a little bit of a chop zone. Why don't we take profit? Why don't we buy it back? Ask him all those questions. The young man will have the answer for you. Obviously, he's positioning for a bigger breakout. So ask him if we get that bounce down where we fill the CME market cap, like, what's the plan here? Now, I've seen a lot of guys, or actually I saw one person actually bring this up. And he's basically saying yesterday's video kind of confused him, because I was talking about inverted fractals, things like that. It was really just a different way of looking at a parabolic move. We just reversed the chart. It was an inverse chart. And he's saying, well, we want, I'm looking for like signals, or I want a plan. Well, look, we cover short term, we cover long term in here. We're going to fill your car up with gas, or charge your electric vehicle up for you. We're going to give you the right GPS coordinates, or on the old world where I come from, the map, okay? But we're not going to drive the car for you. The only way that we could help you drive the car is if you come into the live stream. Come in the live stream, ask questions. We'll be happy to answer them for you. If you're looking to take a position, we'll give you our honest opinion on it. Now, you got to do your own research. You got to trade the way you trade, but we're willing to help you. So we'll give you the car, we'll charge it, or we'll fill it with gas, petro. We'll give you the right GPS coordinates, but it's up to you to drive the car, man. It's up to you to drive the car, okay? So that's all I got to say about that. But right now, Bitcoin's just sitting under 118,000, trading right now at 117,006. It's down about 0.1% on the day. Consolidation continues as macro fears and the Fed anticipation keeps traders on edge. All right, now let's talk about this. This is the famous 2-hour chart that I like to use, because it really gets into the minutia of the marketplace right now, okay? First thing we got to note, CME market cap has not been filled. I'm going to show you that chart right here, as you can see, because it sits at like 114,000. All right, so here we are on the 2-hour chart. Now, this is what I'm looking at as a seasoned trader, okay? Now, I know this is a 2-hour chart, okay? And it's the minutia. I understand that, and I want you to understand that. I don't really like the idea that we punch down lower right from this point. I don't like this on a 2-hour chart. What does that mean? Why don't I like it? Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's basically giving me a signal saying that we can retrace deeper and we can come down to this lower part of the time, potentially break it. okay, and then come down to where the CME market gap is. Now, a fill of the CME market gap on a daily basis, okay, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because there's going to be a lot of institutional buyers down in this area. Not saying they're going to buy their whole boat and rally up. No, because institutional buyers are very smart traders. You're going up against some of the most ruthless people in the world. Now, they're nice to have a beer with and stuff. You know, they're not going to slit your throat or anything, but they are going to try to pick your wallet out of your pocket. That's for sure. That's for sure. They're full of lies, innuendos. You know, they just try to spook markets, and that's the name of the game. Okay, who could play the game better? You can't hate on the, you can't hate the game. You really can't even hate the players. All right. So what I'm trying to say here is that if they see the gap getting filled, okay, you think that they're going to just buy it? No, they're going to wait and they're going to let retail basically flush themselves out. Now, we've also pointed out points that we have to be very aware of. A close below 115 could send us down to the 111,000 area, 110, 109, where I've been saying this is a great area to buy, in my opinion, Bitcoin. If you're going to add, and I went over, like if it came back down in here, I'd be buying like 1/3 of what I normally buy, and I'd be waiting for a breakout. Now, the rule of trading generally is that when a marketplace is going down, you don't want to catch a falling knife, right? Basically, you want to wait for it to kind of stabilize, make a pop up, come back down, do not break that low, and then you'd buy that area where to stop. But because Bitcoin, for me, this is just me, okay? I have contingency plans always in place. So I would look to scoop some coin here, not a full amount, not a full amount. I'm not completely crazy, but I would look to try to get some coin here, maybe 1/3 my position. Now, this is just the way I trade it. Then if it broke above 115.7 again and stabilized, I buy another 1/3. A breakout of the top of the 23 area, I would wait for a pullback and then rebuy the other 1/3, looking for like 128,000 where I could take partial and then start this whole process over again. Now, that's just the way I do it. That's not saying that, you have to do it that way, but you're looking for a roadmap. That's like the way I would handle it, because now if I come back down to, back to this 2-hour chart, I really don't like that it did this. Now, not I shouldn't say that, okay? I really don't care that it did this. Like, we had this low right here, okay? If this marketplace was truly in a breakout structure based off of the 2-hour, what we would have is we would have something like this, a breakout potentially taking out this little top over here, a comeback down, all right, and then another blast off and then taking out the 120,500. That didn't happen. What we have seen right now is market came out, made a lower high, pushed down. So really, we're in on a 2-hour right now. The 2-hour is signaling that we're heading a bit lower. We could fill in the CME market cap. Okay, so what? I just gave you the scenario what I would do. But if you're a short-term trader, and you're looking to buy, just hang tight a little bit. Okay, if you're a long-term holder, you could buy it here all you want, because we know where the coin's going in the long term. We know this thing's headed rocketing higher. Right now, we're just in a little bit of a quagmire, a little bit of a morass, because there's rotation happening. And, it's just going to take a little while before the market takes off. So, the points that we have on the daily are still valid. Don't close below 115.7 if it's going to just take out the top and take off. But the Bitcoin breakout pattern itself requires a good bullish retest. Now it doesn't need it, but I shouldn't say requires it. It would be helpful if it did do it, because it's going to flush out all the weak hands and then actually reset the marketplace for a takeoff. So it's both. It's two sides of the same coin. We could get a dip lower, yeah. And then we can get that reset off of that bullish retest for a rocket higher. So Again, we're just in consolidation. We got Bitcoin dominance that's really holding about 60, 61% right now. So it kind of bounced up a little bit, but yet the coin didn't take off. So that is a little piece of information, valuable piece of information that you got to think about. Okay, and get in the live stream today, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bring up my questions, because I'm going to be busy trading Forex. I got to jump into Forex, and I got one eye right now on dollar yen, that pain in the ass currency. But anyway, all right. So analysts lowering of a downside to 110K. But if we break, 120 with volume, they're looking for 141,000 upside target. Now, I would prefer, really, in all honesty, as a trader, I would prefer actually a bullish retest, a come back down so I can get more at that 1/3, like I just said, the roadmap that I just gave you. But hey, if it breaks out, it breaks out. 141 upside target. That would be just fine for me. Now, I want to take you over to Bitcoin versus gold. I want to show you this chart. And the reason we bring this up is because gold is a real world asset. Bitcoin is becoming one as well. It's becoming a store of value. I told you Ray Dalio yesterday said he upped what you should be having in a long-term portfolio as far as Bitcoin. He went from 2% in 22 to up to 15% right now in 2025. Now, Ray Dalio is nobody just to not pay attention to. He's one of the sharks that are out there that I just mentioned. So he's somebody that you got to pay attention to. So if we look at Bitcoin versus gold went parabolic after we the double top was actually, this was the breakout right there. We had the double top. We had, a kind of short squeeze, or a long squeeze right here, profit taking. Also, here's a head fake. You could look at this as a white cough, spring after we came back up off the bottom. But notice how it followed, the moving average path right here. Once it broke, the moving average held. Once the breakout happened, gold went parabolic. Now, it went from, 195 to 600, okay? So, or almost $800 an ounce. This was the top for a while. It consolidated, and now look where gold is right now. Gold's at 3,314. All right, so Bitcoin just replicated the pattern, okay? We had the double top, right? We had the breakdown a little bit, the bottom right here, kind of like a cup, Here's your handle. Right in here is a small handle. Right in here is a small handle, then the breakout. Okay, the breakout is occurring. So double top, bottom, bang, boom, smash. Okay, this is the calm before the storm. Can we get the retrace? Yeah, because we're talking about this is longer term. All right, so we went over the short term. I went over the short term with you that we could actually dip down. If you're looking to buy, just hang tight a little bit. Okay, you're probably going to see a better price, in my opinion. Now, don't shoot me if it doesn't happen, because I'm a trader. I'm not a fortune teller. Okay, so this is the calm before the crypto storm. So front run the Bitcoin explosion. Pick your spots. Get in the live stream. Talk about it. Say, I want to get involved. Where I got to get involved. So we've seen this set up before. And we know how it ends if we just look at gold. Now, I want to take you over to something else. Now, we got a federal open market committee coming up, right? We're going to have Jerome Powell speak. That snake, all right? Now, I say 60-40, 60% he doesn't do anything with the rate because he doesn't want to look like he's a Donald Trump lackey. However, since he knows his term's coming up, he might want to go out on a strong point. So it could happen that he says, all right, I'll give you a half basis point cut right now, cautious cut right now. It would be amazing if he gave 1 full point. Then then we're talking about explosions. But really, Bitcoin loves the FOMC. 5 of the last 7 meetings sparked major upside. If history rhymes, another impulse is loading. Let it breathe a little bit, then detonate. Now you want fuel for the next rally. Like, let's look at this chart right here, the Bitcoin bull pattern chart right here, where 2018 gave us retail mania. Okay, 2025 brings institutional firepower, same setup, bigger players. This time, the story ends differently with institutions at the wheel: BlackRock, Fidelity, State Street. Don't let it pass you by like the last time. We're talking longer term here. We're talking longer term. So Bitcoin is near. I mean, it's really, if we look at Bitcoin itself longer term, the Bitcoin market makers model, right? Market maker model. Okay, retail will fill the fear of missing out. Okay, market makers will dump at the end. We're talking about at the end. So you got to sell into strength. Now we're talking about the coin at 210,000. Okay, again, getting ahead of our skis, but this is what we see coming up. The exit zone is around 210,000, we think. Now, of course, that could all change, because we're forward thinking here. But we're just trying to show you that overall, this thing is headed into orbit. It's heading into moon territory. So when we get up there, we will warn you. If you held with us, this is the exit. Don't miss it. Don't take screenshots of it. Don't order, stop drinking the martini and leave the bar and sell some Bitcoin. All right. So we're going to come on over to Ethereum right now. All right. So Ethereum floating between 3760 to 3780. It's minor pullback, but it's still holding weekly gains. ETF flows are explosive, with over 4 billion added in July alone. Now, whales deployed 2.4 billion in Ethereum wallets, prepping for a breakout. The key levels above 4,000 triggers 1.95 billion in short liquidations, but a fall below, say, 3,600, and it could nuke 1.66 billion in longs. So if we're looking at Ethereum itself, the breakout is 4,000. The support's right around 3,600 short term right now. I want to take you over. I want you to look at Bitcoin side to side with Ethereum itself. Other side, oh, that's my liquidity markets. Where is it? Where's my chart? Right there. Here it is. Okay. Right now, if you look at Bitcoin 2021, Ethereum is doing the same exact thing. Triple RSI signal, falling wedge breakout occurring. It's doing the same thing that Bitcoin's did. Okay, so if you missed Bitcoin back then, make sure you don't miss the second chance in Ethereum, because this thing is going to rock. Now, we brought up all the fundamental macro news in the background with Banque de France, and they're using Ethereum to CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. So really, Ethereum is really set for a breakout. It's ready to fly. You just got to be patient with it. You just have to be patient. So the launch pad, if we look at Ethereum, the launch pad is set. It's active. Ethereum's passed every test. It's ready to fly. This is what disbelief rallies are made of. Okay. Now, who keeps jumping in on my chart? You can't jump in on my chart when I'm doing this, okay? So anyway, once we break 4,000, there's absolutely no coming back from this. So if we look at the altcoin market, all right, I want to take you over to here. We're going to look at Bitcoin dominance. Again, somebody's jumping in on my chart. But Bitcoin dominance is right around 61.74, a little bit of a recovery from yesterday. Now, altcoins, right now, there's some that are bleeding. There's some that are holding their own. So Bitcoin is still leading. All right. Altcoins are coiling for detonation. And, this is, I want to show you the liquidity chart. Hopefully they're not in on, yeah, they are in on my chart here too. Get off my chart, guys. Bitcoin is leading. Altcoins are coiling for detonation. If you just look, M2 leads everything. M2 just leads everything. And, right now, Bitcoin is the one that's up there. Ethereum's following. We showed you that. Now, altcoins themselves are also starting to gain traction and gain, some generational wealth is forming. All right. This is how generational wealth is printed. You ride the wave or you drowned in hindsight. All right. Now, look. We got Solana, Doge, XRP are taking a beating. Now, I showed you the XRP from before, so I want to make sure you see it again. All right. Said yesterday, XRP needed to hold $3.25. Couldn't do it. Now, this is a short-term chart. We're drifting lower. We could actually be drifting to $3. That's a possibility. It looks like it's going to do it. Okay. So right now, what are we trading at? Currently, we're at 308. All right, so we could potentially go back down to $3. The most important critical price in XRP for you XRP maniacs is 280. It's got to hold this level. If it doesn't, it's going to all hell's going to break loose. We could potentially see $2.60 again. I think that XRP, with what's going on with the Banque de France and all the other cryptos, as far as being adopted for on-chain for, DeFi and stuff, XRP is going to eventually rally, and I think that we're going to see XRP at like $5.5. I think by the end of the year. Now, that's just me reading the tea leaves. I could be completely wrong, but I'm thinking that it's still a good asset to hold, so don't freak out, XRP did lose about 2.4 billion in open interest, signaling deeper fears across majors, okay? ADA still shows bullish potential. Some are eyeing a 309 all-time high again. H-bar, I want to show you H-bar. I want to take you to a little post that we have here up for H-bar itself. This gentleman decided to actually follow us and retweet us, and we want to give him a big thank you for that. We actually look for projects. We're not looking, we're not looking for praise, but it's really nice when we get somebody like Charles Atkins, actually from Hedera itself, actually retweet us. So again, we want to say a big thank you to that, because that's going to help us. We're just trying to do the best job that we possibly can, but he did retweet us here, and that is huge for us, and we really want to say thank you for that. All right, so what to watch for today, okay? Will the skunk Powell keep rates steady or drop a hawkish hammer on us? If he does that, man, I'm going to be sending him some hate mail. But anyway, we got to also watch out White House digital asset report. Could a strategic Bitcoin reserve be in the works? Will they mention that? We got Ethereum battle zone that we have to watch, which is hanging out right over here. Ethereum battle zone, right? We got to get through the 4,000, target 4,800, then we're thinking 6,000. All right, before we wrap up, crew, we got to make sure that you're well aware of our free trading community. It's in the links in the description. Click this link right here. You asked for it. We gave it to you. Free Telegram community. Also, don't forget the live stream is happening at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All right, you'll be taken over to this site where actually you can join the community for free. We'll be dropping insane alpha trading opportunities for you daily. You want to follow us on our trusted broker. Well, you come on over to the link. You click here. You'll be taken over to WeX, the broker of our choice. Low fees, fast execution, everything you can want in a broker. All right, what do you got to do? Well, you got to make sure that you come on over to X and follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin and crypto all day, every day, in my best Mo Green voice. What else do you have to do? Well, you got to join the live stream today, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You got to join the Telegram community. It's free. You can't beat the price. You could always get your money back. Always get your money back. You also have to do your own research. You got to trade with your head and not over it. And as a short-term trader, you got to enjoy the party, but dance near the door. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.